That's right. Turn my headphones up. We live here. This is the Real Lil, host of the Real Lil Show. It is going down, just so you know. If you ain't get the memo, if you ain't get the demo, we are going on right now. And we are live here on YouTube, Facebook. In case you miss an episode or a topic, the Real Lil Show on Spotify and Apple. And weekdays, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the Can You Dig Sports Radio Network. So make sure you tune into that on the My Tuna Radio app. Did I mention it's going down? Oh, yeah, it's going down because we got some topics that we got to spill here on this show and talk about. Starting in the NBA, we're going to talk about the Celtics. Jayson Tatum may be coming back, but right now, JB Smooth is holding it down. We're going to talk about it, okay? Mayweather and Pacquiao, you ever heard of them? Okay, yeah, you ever heard of them? Ask your 10-year-old son if you heard of them. Okay, they're going down for another round. Round 2 or round 13, should I say, right? We're going to talk about that and the reasoning behind that, right? And we got some what's real topics going on in the world in general, as IMG Academy was fined 1.7 M, okay, for accepting El Chapo's payments. I'm going to just call him El Chapo, all right? We're going to talk about that. And California governor, okay, I thought it was California love. I guess it's California hate. He came out and said some things about black people and about their SAT scores. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my usual guest here on the show. Lee, how you feeling?
I'm good, brother. How you doing? How you doing? Y'all getting another snowstorm, I take it.
Yeah, you know, and I think that answers your question about how I'm doing because I'm not doing good. Between the shoveling and the shuffling, okay, got to shuffle the deck. I show some respect. We out here. I am tired. I've been on training all day. You know, my shoulder is now getting better. So you know what? I had a horrible last couple of days, but you know what? I'm alive and I'm here on the mic. So you know what? I'm doing pretty good right now.
And you're playing injured, like we talked about our boy Peterson. You playing injured, man. I appreciate you on that. Let's get it.
Listen,
Let's
man,
get it.
ain't no Kawhi Leonard load management over here.
Let's get it.
All right, no load management. All right, we ain't doing that, and we might as well get it because speaking of a guy that possibly could have load managed, could have sat out the rest of the year, it's looking like, and it's not official yet, but the last time I checked, he was on 5-on-5. He was in drills and scrimmages. You know, for the Celtics, Shams reported today that being Jayson Tatum, who we all know ruptured his Achilles last year in the playoffs against my New York Knicks. So the question that I have for you, Lee, to kick us off is what does the Celtics thriving without him actually mean, and will his potential return, help or hurt the Celtics? The mic is yours.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. No one really thought that the Celtics would be in the spot that they're in right now. I mean, number 2 in the East, 38-19. You know, they're 5 games behind Detroit, but playing excellent basketball. Just went out to LA and beat the Lakers pretty handily. And you really see the start that Jaylen Brown is. He's coming on. He's averaging almost 28 points a game. The role players are playing great. Pritchard is having a renaissance. I mean, he's making money. And the Celtics, man, they look like a threat. They look like a threat and a team that in the East no one wants to play. For me, you know, Tatum is doing on-court drills, 5-on-5 drills, running up and down the court, shooting the ball well. He's playing with the G League team. He's had a couple of outings with them, Lil, and so I think he's getting back in shape and getting ready to go. But my thing is this. Tatum is, if you look at, we're approaching March. He'll be 9 months removed from his Achilles injuries, right? And if he starts and if he plays in the playoffs, which begin in April, he'll be 10 months removed from it. And my question or my answer would be, I don't know if I would play Jayson Tatum at all this year. I don't think that I would if I was the Celtics. He would be 10 months removed from that. I would like to see him wait till the beginning of next year and come back because, you know, theoretically they're second in the East. I don't think they're going to catch Detroit, but they're setting themselves up to a point where they can make the Eastern Conference Finals with the way that they're positioning themselves as number 2 in the East, and I don't think they should bring him back. I think they should sit him for the rest of the year, play with the team that got him there, because you got to look at the teams in the East that they played. They played very well against them. I think the only competition really is Detroit and the Knicks at this point. Cleveland, with Harden injured his finger last night, so that may be a significant injury, and they may drop. But I don't think he should play. I think they should set him out for the rest of the year. I think they're doing fine without him. I think Jaylen Brown and the role players are handling them very well, and so I think it's a deal where I would set him out. I wouldn't play him. If he does come back, Leo, that's just another threat on the court, but I don't see it as so much of a positive. I think it's more of a negative, because he could re-injure himself, and I don't want that to happen. I'd rather him come back full strength, ready for next year.
I mean, look, before I get into Tatum's return, I think what this means, right? Because I think a lot of people will spin the narrative that, okay, well, the Boston Celtics is a number 2 seed right now, and they playing really, really great without Tatum. What does that mean? Does that mean Tatum is overrated? You know how people are in the media. And to me, that doesn't equate to anything. If anything should be took away from the Celtics' success, is that Jaylen Brown can lead his own team. That's what the biggest takeaway should be. Yeah. Because I always thought that JB and JT was more of a 1A, 1B. It wasn't a Batman and a Robin. I never looked at them as Batman and Robin, because I always thought Jaylen Brown was disrespected. I thought he was in some ways underrated. So I always looked at them as a 1A, 1B. Brown always brought the energy. He always brought that edge. He was the leader of this team, especially when Marcus Smart was gone. He became the full leader of this team. And I thought Tatum at times, was a guy that wanted to ease his way into the flow of the game. Right, that's how he like to do. He get a couple of assists, and then he start off as a facilitator, and then he goes into his bag and whatnot. But you needed that guy to start you off, and that was always Jaylen Brown for me. Now, again, this is about Jaylen Brown being able to showcase his ability and have his own team, and we get to assess him with that team that right now he's the leader of. And to me, when you look at it from this perspective, the fact that they was able to have success with all these different coaches speaks volumes to both of them individually, because they had multiple coaches they made the Eastern Conference Finals with. They made 2 finals with different coaches, obviously won finals with Joe Mazzulla, and different systems and whatnot, different philosophies. One guy was a 3-point guy, which is obviously Joe Mazzulla. He likes to space the floor, and they can play within that system, more ball movement and whatnot. Then it was Ime's defensive mentality and whatnot, and they played that your turn, my turn style of offense and whatnot. So every coach was different, and they was able to be adaptable in each of the coaches' systems and have success. Now, to answer the question, Jayson Tatum's return will only hurt the Celtics if it's rushed. So I think that point that you made about potentially rushing it could be what hurt them in the long term. However, in the intermediate short term, it helps them by far, because if Tatum is at least 80, 75, 70% himself, he's one of the best basketball players in the world. He's more versatile than Jaylen Brown. He has the shot creation versatility to overwhelm his matchups. That's an extra threat that you have on the floor in playoff time. Imagine you having to play my Knicks again. And I understand my Knicks lost last night, and everybody want to panic. That's what media people do. But imagine think about the game that Tatum had when he went down with his Achilles. That was one of the best playoff games individually I've seen in a long time. He was on his way there. Now, I understand Brown, you feel comfortable about your team. You feel comfortable about Brown, transitioning into that number 1. But if you look at his numbers, and look, I'm like one of the biggest Brown fans in the world. But if you look at it more directly, is he having an MVP caliber season? Yeah, you could argue that, especially with these other guys like Jokic and SGA probably going to be ineligible. You look at the numbers, 29 points per game. Love to see it. I'm not shocked. But when you look at the other areas, especially when you consider and factor in the top candidates like Jokic, or he might be eligible, but he's still, one of the best players and clearly was going to probably win it had he, didn't miss all them games. You look at Cade Cunningham, you look at the assists, 9.8 assists for Cade Cunningham. Victor Wembanyama, 11.2 rebounds. So you talk about rebounds, assists. Those are things that Tatum can impact the game in that Jaylen Brown may not necessarily do. So if you have an opportunity, if healthy, if 70, 75% to get Tatum back, you got to make that move. He helps them.
Yeah, I don't want a 75% Jayson Tatum on the basketball court, Lil. I don't want that. I think that may be something that's going to cause them to hurt Tyrone Defense, that they tried hard to elevate Tatum over Brown. Look, and a good point, Tyrone. I'll say this about, I think Tatum is a more skilled basketball player than Brown, but Brown has a little more dog, a little more
I agree.
Oomph in him. So, but Tatum's skill set, I would say, is better than Brown. But I love Brown's game. I just don't want them to rush him back at 75, 80%, 85%. I don't think that's a good thing for them. And then also the other thing that I think will hurt them in the short term, Lil, and maybe in the long term, it messes up their rotation now that they've had all season without Tatum and getting these role players to play. Right now, Boston's team is deep as they've ever been. I mean, they have a deep team, and bringing Tatum back, even though he's a great player, messes up that continuity and that rotation. So, look, I would just roll with this season, roll it out, man, play it out. Keep Tatum on the sidelines, see how far you can go. Because really, if you look at the East, he's wide open. The East wide open. So I say just roll him out there, man, and keep going with the way you're doing, and keep Tatum on the back burners. And Tyrone says definitely not 75% Tatum. No, you don't want to do that, because that's an injury waiting to happen, and I don't want to see the man re-aggravate that Achilles.
I mean, luckily for Tatum, he doesn't have to carry a team. So it'd be different coming off an Achilles injury, being the clear number one guy, or, having to carry the load. He doesn't have to do that. I think, like I said, you look at his numbers, he could impact the game as a facilitator. He's a better passer than Jaylen Brown, right? He could get you those other stats in other areas. And, when it's time to score a bucket, I'm pretty sure he can still score a bucket. Yeah. So for me, I'm looking at it from this perspective. The Boston Celtics had a long window, and for the most part, they made an opportunity of it. They won a championship, right? But if you're in prime position to do so again, and your guy is, close to healthy, I mean, if he comes back, he's healthy. If he comes back, he's healthy. If he's out here limping, he's not going to come back. Right now, he's on 5-5. He's pretty healthy, full go. He's healthy. He can play. Why shelf him? Why shelf him? You're not going to listen. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm coming at my guy JB, because I'm not. Everybody that know me know I'm a JB fan. I was always a JB fan more than a JT fan. I still am. But again, you're not going to win a championship without Tatum. I'm pretty sure we can agree with that. I don't think. I think their best pathway, and yeah, sure, the East is wide open. I know you said that, but their best pathway to win a championship is with Tatum on the roster.
Tatum gives them a lot more spacing on the court. You're going to have
makes the team better.
Yeah, he does. His skill set, and especially 100% Tatum does. I just don't think 10 months off of an Achilles injuries, you're going to be 100%. And most of the Achilles injuries we've seen,
and that's my point. I don't think they need him to be 100%.
Yeah, but you don't want to put out. You don't want to put him out there.
Think about it.
To go 100%,
when you get to the play, he's going to be healthier than most of these other players. I mean, you play a long season, 82 games, you're going to not be healthy. I'm pretty sure when they won the championship, they weren't all the way healthy. They weren't 100%. He's probably going to be more healthier than all these other guys because of that long wear and tear of the regular season. Thus, you have the playoffs as well. He had an opportunity to rehab. Obviously, that's a tedious process, the Achilles injury and coming back from that. We get it. And yeah, sure, him coming back will probably feel like history is being rewritten here, especially with modern technology. But that is a thing. We all know that modern technology is a thing. And how long it took in the past is not how long it's going to take now. They're building robots, people. Okay, they're building robots. The technology is different. Okay, matter of fact, that robot that they're building is going to replace your job. Sorry to break it to you. You're about to be fired. Okay, you about to have to go on Indeed and LinkedIn. Okay, because a robot's going to take your job. My point being, we are living in a different time. Jayson Tatum has a golden opportunity to create history and come back and help his team compete. Now, I'm not going to say they will win a championship. Why? Because you see the next post on my wall. That's not going to happen. But he gives them the best chance to do so.
I'll just throw out there this. Look, again, the East is wide open. Boston's playing good basketball. If you saw him play against the Lakers, that was the best I've seen, especially Pritchard playing well, White playing well. They have an opportunity, and I just wouldn't. The organization has to be smarter than Jayson Tatum's going to want to come back, but I just think the organization needs to be smart enough to say, we're going to shut you down, and we're going to roll with what we got. That's my opinion.
All right, we'll see if he makes sort of history and comes back and how that looks and if it helps or hurt the Boston Celtics.
Sports, politics, conspiracy theories. We are here to give you our unique perspectives on things happening in the world. It's the one and only The Real Lil on The Real Lil Show.